So I just recently picked up the Metabones 5 adapter for my Sony a7 III. I had the Metabones 4 and I couldn't get any image out of it. So the Mark V does work. That being said, there's a couple things I guess I didn't really realize about Metabones. So first things first, when I threw this on, it worked. I got an image. I was really happy. I had control over aperture, but I had no focus control. Like the continuous autofocus was completely gone. So we couldn't figure out what was going on. I did a little research onto Metabones' website and I did find out a couple things. First off, there are two different modes with Metabones. Number one is called their green mode, which is their default mode, and then there's their advanced mode. So the green mode seems somewhat more for photo. So it doesn't have any continuous autofocus whatsoever. In fact, let me read you this off of their website. It says, in green mode, autofocus continuous with good performance is possible, albeit photo mode only and not during video recording. So that's in the green mode. So that's why we weren't getting anything. It says you have to half press the shutter to engage any focus control, which I guess makes sense. You know, if you're taking photos or whatever, that's great. But for video, that doesn't really do us any good, right? You don't want to be half pressing the shutter in the middle of every take. So when I switched over to advanced mode, by the way, to switch it over to advanced mode, there's just a button on the adapter here. All you're doing is just holding that button in while you mount the lens. There's an LED indicator on here. When it's blue, that means it's in green mode. When it's red, that means it's in advanced mode. So when you flip it over to advanced mode, you do get some continuous autofocus, which is great, but it's a little rough. It's not super fast, it's not super accurate, and it's incredibly loud. Let me read to you what the website says. So it says, autofocus continuous in advanced mode is possible, but it may have unsatisfactory performance and/or accuracy and may suffer from excessive hunting depending on the lens. Continuous video autofocus is possible, but performance may be unsatisfactory with some lenses, and for most lenses, motor noise may be picked up by the camera's internal mic, and an appropriately placed external mic is required for video work, even though some blah, 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 blah. Anyways, the point of the matter is, number one, focus is sort of lacking in the continuous world. The other issue is noise. It's insanely loud. Here is a clip. We just placed a Rode video mic on top of the lens, like if you were vlogging or something like that, and then just let the focus hunt. And I wasn't moving. It was just set right on me, like, you know what I mean? The motor was just this loud. Dude, this is so loud. This is with the Sigma 18-35 lens. It was this loud with this Canon 24-105 as well. Aside from the noise, the continuous autofocus was pretty rough. We did a couple different tests with static objects, and then we did some tests where I was walking. So the camera was here, I was here, and it was just tracking along with me. And at some point, I stopped walking and the camera kept moving backwards. And every time I stopped, the camera went out of focus. All right, so we've got a Sigma 18-35 lens on. It is currently at an f2.8. Give us a little bit of movement. Wide open is at a 1.8 on this lens, so we're giving it about a stop to hopefully make up and allow a little more room for focus to catch up. So I'm gonna stop, and the cameraman's gonna keep going in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it struggles, man. It struggles whenever.
I think when it was moving in a parallel plane like this, it was staying in because, you know, it was relatively the same focal plane. But as soon as I stop, it changes focal planes and it can't keep up. Same thing with when we had the camera in a static position and I walked towards camera, it just couldn't keep up. All right, so this is the 18-35 at a 2.8 Sigma lens. I'm gonna walk towards camera. This is probably about half the distance. Now I'm up close and personal. So what does all this mean? Basically, I think it means that I didn't know what I was getting into. When I bought this Metabones, I thought I was purchasing an adapter that would let me utilize Canon glass in a video sense, that would let me utilize the continuous autofocus options of Canon lenses on my Sony body. It's just not the case. Ultimately, I think Metabones' main selling point here is allowing you to utilize Canon glass on a Sony body. in a smart sense, in that you have control over aperture and you do have autofocus in a photographer's sense where you can half press the shutter. I don't think this was intended for video work. I hear a lot of people saying they're going to jump ship from Canon, pick up a Sony body, but they've invested all this money into Canon glass and they want to be able to utilize that Canon glass on their Sony body, so they're just going to pick up a Metabones. I was in that same boat. I didn't even think twice about it. Nowhere in Metabones' marketing or anything does it say that it is solely optimized for photographers. I think there's a stigma, there's this understanding in the video world that Metabones works for video. And the hard truth is that it doesn't. It's freaking useless in terms of actual continuous autofocus. Yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of let down now. I don't really know how to end this. I didn't want you guys to make the same $400 mistake that I did, so I hope you enjoyed this video. What the hell, Metabones? How hard is it to, I mean, it's probably pretty hard, but